Hey, welcome back to Impulse Family Talk. Today, I am sitting down again with one of our amazing trainers, Grace Turner, but this time we're diving into a topic that affects all of us. And that topic is how to stay healthy when life gets busy. So, Grace shares her personal approach to nutrition, how she keeps things simple and scalable, and the secrets she's learned on the way on how to eat healthy when life gets busy. So, if you've ever struggled with eating well on a hectic schedule, this one's for you. So, let's get started.
Yeah.
Well, and I know I've had lots of conversations with you and or enough. And I was going to say, and I know you're also not just passionate about the fitness side and the training side, but you're also very passionate about the nutrition side.
Yes.
And so which, exercise and nutrition, you need them both,
Yep.
very very
Yeah.
much
Oh,
so.
yeah. 100%.
Um and so I want to just talk to you for a few minutes just about, I know, like, the other thing I know about you is you're very busy. You're very, like, you are going, 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 going.
Yeah.
Um like some people at Impulse probably, they're like that too, where they're going so much so that sometimes nutrition can easily fall away.
Oh, yeah,
It
for
can be
sure.
easy to not eat healthy. And so I really would love your just advice as from somebody who's busy but cares about nutrition, cares about fitness, is like, what kind of things do you do for yourself, and what kind of advice can you offer to some of our clients and about, like, how to stay healthy when you are busy, when you are running around.
Yeah, for sure. Well, a couple things I wanna agree with you on before I jump into that is fitness and
Mhm.
nutrition 100% go together, and I think just because you're asking for my advice, that's one of the biggest things is people are misled by is, "I'm busting my butt in the gym, I'm burning 500 calories a workout, like, I can go eat whatever I want." No,
Mhm.
okay? Now I also agree with balance. Like my whole thing with nutrition, I am crazy busy. You're totally right. I actually sat down with my mom a couple weeks ago and we figured out like my school hours and then my work
Mhm.
hours and everything. And I ended up working like I have been working close to like 35 hours a week on top of school.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying that because I do find a way to like balance it out as best as I can. So
Mhm.
best thing for me to recommend to everybody else watching is one, I know people are gonna probably roll their eyes when I say this, but meal prepping like a Sunday night before the week, even if it's not getting it together in sections in like
Right.
those boxes or anything like that, just cooking meals before the week so
Mhm.
that you're not like, crap, I'm going home to nothing and I have to
Yeah.
cook after a 12-hour day and I'm getting home at 8:30 at night. Like
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that people run into is, oh, I don't want to cook. So I'm just gonna go to Chick-fil-A, Swenson's, Wendy's, whatever it is. And
Yep.
that's obviously that's not healthy and gonna get you the
It's not
results that you
ideal.
want.
Yeah.
But I am also a huge fan of just focusing on macros and to eat more whole food based,
Yep.
which can be really easy if you do something like meal prep, like a bunch of
Yep.
ground beef, like you could literally get
Mhm.
frozen vegetables and throw them in the microwave, and I mean,
Yep.
that's what I've been doing. That might be, like, college of me, but, like, I've just been
College of me.
cooking I've just been, like, cooking a bunch of ground beef or chicken or something like that
Mhm.
and throwing vegetables and steaming
Yeah.
them and doing all that kinda stuff, yeah, and then
Mhm.
just finding, like, simple carbs like, potatoes or rice or something
Mhm.
something of that nature, and then I mean, I'm someone that doesn't I get tired of eating the exact same thing
Yeah,
all
me
the
too.
time, which I
Mhm.
feel like majority of people do, obviously, like, no one wants to get
Mhm.
to, like, go home and be like, "Ugh, I have to eat rice and chicken
Rice
again."
and ground beef again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So, just, like, finding take time for yourself, a couple hours on a Sunday night when you don't have work or anything like that,
Mhm.
figure out some super easy, simple meals to make. I look on Pinterest or
Mhm.
even Instagram. I follow a couple of fitness accounts that
Mhm.
post meals and stuff like that. And then I'll figure out what those meals are and I'll be like, okay, this is what I'm going to make for this week. And say it's
Mhm.
three different meals for like lunch, dinner,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
breakfast can be breakfast is this is another piece of advice I'll give. Breakfast is so important
Yeah.
and I know people know that and they let it go over their head. But if you have a good, super high protein breakfast in the morning,
Mhm.
it completely sets you up for your whole day, and
Yep.
it satiates you for however many hours a day depending on the person. But I know for me, like if I have a big breakfast, and my favorite breakfasts are like big Greek yogurt bowls. I put anything and everything in my Greek yogurt bowls. I'll do honey and some granola sometimes. Granola can get unhealthy depending on the kind that you have.
True.
um, a bunch of fruit, like a couple nuts, all that kind of stuff. I love eggs, and lately I'm not a huge fan of cottage cheese, but I know how high protein it is. So I've been putting it in my eggs, and I it
Yep.
completely masks the taste, and it's like
Yep.
the easiest
Mhm.
morning breakfast ever. And then I'll have like a piece of sourdough for my carbs and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it, like, completely satisfies me for the whole first half of my day, even going into a lunch if you have to have a
Yep.
later lunch. But having
Mhm.
those meals ready, and say morning of, you just kinda throw together that, I'm just using the ground beef and broccoli as an example,
Mhm.
but ground beef and broccoli into a container, and then you take that to lunch. Okay, you have something
Mhm.
made available for you. You know what's in your food. Because another thing
Yep.
is, like, if you go somewhere, even if we're talking fast food, Chick-fil-A, you could get something healthy
Mhm.
at Chick-fil-A, but, like, what is it that's in the food? Like,
Right.
you see the
Like grilled
calories.
chicken,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it, like, what are all the seed oils that are in everything? Like,
Yeah.
what's all the additional crap that's in stuff? Like, when
Yeah.
I make my own food and I just suck it up and deal with it and get it done and over with the day before the week starts, I
Yeah.
know what my body is taking in. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So
Absolutely.
finding time, I understand that time is difficult, but to me, if you care enough about your health and you do want to lose weight, and you're
Prioritize.
obviously not seeing results from weightlifting constantly all the time because you're
Mhm.
not eating well, you're going to find time to prioritize.
Yeah.
This is what I need to do, and I'm going to
Yeah.
take an hour, 2 hours out of my night Sunday evening and meal prep for the week. And
Yeah.
that's just been the easiest way for me. I've tried a lot of different ways. I hate tracking calories. I hate doing any of that
I
because I
do.
become obsessive over things like that. That's why I
Yeah.
mentioned, like, macros are
Yeah.
my game. Like, if I, not even all macros either, just focusing on protein. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I need to get in at least 145, 150 grams of protein at least a day. And
Mhm.
even if I tell some clients, they've asked me already on advice for this, and I'll start with saying that. And, like, even then, they're completely satisfied throughout their day because they're
Yep.
hitting those protein goals
Yep.
and they're losing weight because of it. Like, it can
Yeah.
be so simple. And I feel like our world has made things so complicated, and
Mhm.
it is obviously intimidating and, like, nerve
Mhm.
wracking, and just like, oh, I have to, like, start doing all this kind of stuff. Like, it's
Mhm.
actually super simple if you just
Yeah.
take time for it. And
Yeah.
it saves you money in the end. Like, everyone that says that kind of eating healthy is more expensive is a bunch of bull crap, because you go out
Mhm.
anywhere any day and spend however much money buying food at fast food or a restaurant or something, like, that adds up over
Yeah.
time completely compared to what you would
For
spend
sure.
for 1 week worth of
For sure.
groceries yourself.
It it's interesting you talk about protein because I know that it's super easy, especially in our culture, it's super, super easy to like you'll have a meal with no protein. And it's
Mhm.
very common, especially kids and young adults, and like when you're rushing around, it's super easy. You're grabbing pasta, you're grabbing bread with not much meat, if any, or a peanut butter sandwich. Like peanut butter, yeah, it's protein, but not a ton. If you have like a real thin swipe
Right.
of it. And so like it's really easy to not have protein. And so even
Mhm.
just being conscious of every single meal having protein in it. If you
For
do
sure.
just that, you're
Yep.
gonna feel a little bit better, you
Oh,
know?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And there's different ways to go about, like, when you have certain things on the macro side before certain times in the day, like for workouts. If somebody's like, well, I'm eating a bunch of protein before my workout and I feel like I'm going to get sick or something like that, well,
Mhm.
probably shouldn't eat a heavy meal right before you're going to work out. Like, I would recommend having some carbs, even some sugars, right before your workout, right after your workout. But right after your workout, you also need to prioritize that high protein and things like that. So there are ways to go about it. People need to find people that are educated on it or educate themselves
Mhm.
on it and just understand, because I know I once had no idea about what I was supposed to be eating, especially as an athlete. Like, I had no
Yeah.
idea. Had I known all this when I was an athlete, I would probably perform way better and have way more energy throughout my practices and my games and all that kind of stuff if I had known prior, like how important
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z was. So just
Yeah.
educating yourself or asking us coaches or, you
Yeah.
know, whatever it may be on how should I go about this? What do I need to do? What's the easiest
Mhm.
way? And once you figure that
Mhm.
out, like it's smooth sailing. You won't want to turn back because
Mhm.
your body's going to feel better. You're going to have
Sure.
more energy. And yeah, it's just going to be a lot better in the end. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people just
Yeah.
need to take more advantage of that.
For sure, and not only will it help with weight loss and energy, but also recovery and not
Oh,
getting
yeah.
hurt as often, and,
Yes.
that's a big deal, especially for a lot of people who are going to impulse and stuff,
Mhm.
you might be a little, not in your teens anymore, and you need a little bit more, fuel for your body to recover
Yes.
and to not get hurt.
Yes, that's another thing. That's the last thing I'll say about this. That's a good point. Don't be shy of how much you're eating. Like, obviously, you
Mhm.
don't want to eat a whole pack of ground beef in one sitting, but like, I know for me, when I first started getting into this, I still felt like crap. And it was because I was eating like way under the calorie intake that I needed for myself just at a
Mhm.
resting rate, let alone all the
Mhm.
additional calories I was burning on
Yep.
top of that, especially as an athlete. I was burning like close to 1,000 a day. Like,
Yeah.
doing, like, don't be shy with your food. And even to our clients, like, sometimes people will get done with workouts and they'll be like, all right, I'm going to have a protein shake, a 22-gram protein shake, and that's my dinner. And I'm like, that's good that you're having it right after your workout, but like you're going to be starving in like an hour and then you're
Go
going to
eat
binge
dinner.
on potato chips the whole rest of the evening.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like fill your body with a lot of good nutrients. Don't
Mhm.
shy away from that. That's why I always tell people don't track calories to start. Eat good whole food plates and you'll be fine.
Absolutely.
So just
Absolutely.
learning that I feel like is so
Yeah.
crucial.
And you bring up a good point for all of the clients who are currently at Impulse. Make sure you guys get an in-body scan if you haven't had one in a while. See what your BMR is. Talk to your coaches about that and see because you may like. I know my husband, his BMR rate's like 3,000. Like it's high. It's
Yeah.
really really high. So he has to just if he laid around all day, he's got to eat a lot of calories. And there
Yes.
may be some of you like that, and then maybe yours is a little lower, and it's good to know. And it can change over time. So make
Right.
sure that you are doing that. So. That's awesome. That is awesome advice. Make sure that when you're in the gym next, if you see Gracie and you have more questions about nutrition or any of our coaches, make sure you go ahead and ask them, see what they're doing, ask them, just for any advice that they have for you. And like you said, it starts with just doing it, practicing it, making it a habit, making it a routine. So
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
appreciate you being here. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see all of you guys later. Bye, everyone. We hope this episode gives you some encouragement and maybe a few ideas for how to keep your health a priority when life gets busy. A big thanks to Grace for sharing her insight and keeping things real and relatable. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you all next time.